It's dope. I actually wore my Media Interactive t-shirt this week. I'm sporting the brand again, Andrew. You do a good job of sporting the brand. I never do.
How about it?
I always forget or mix it up. Audio check. Forget or mix it up. Cool. All right. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Boom. Twitch.tv. The end. Episode 30. Share now. It's officially out in the wild. Twitter. Episode 30. Officially out in the wild. Overcooked Squad. Officially out in the wild. Do you want to text people? Get Daniel Snap back in here? The second week in a row?
Back in here. Yeah, who do I should text?
You have our group me coming to your watch? That's bold.
Yeah.
It's a bold move. Actually, I guess they don't really use it too much.
I've muted most of my messages.
I always mute group me, man.
Yeah.
Well, I use it on an administrative front. Like every group me I'm in, I run.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a little bit much if somebody's talking about something I don't care about.
Yeah.
What can you do? I'll send it out to a few peeps. Final show. Yuri is so upset that we're done.
Is he?
Yeah, he wanted to come back on.
One last time.
Yeah, I don't even know. All right, that's good.
That sounds good.
I'll do Josh final show. Jake Adams. Let me see what he's about. I don't need that. Daniel. You shoot Nola text.
That just sent me to. Oh, I've been sending out the wrong link. Wow, I'm so done.
What link are you talking to people?
Just
in?
right now, I sent out the link to the homepage of Twitch. Like some
kind
of idiot.
Twitch.tv/
like
whoever,
some kind of idiot.
Some girl streaming to raise money for her Overwatch cosplay.
Yeah.
That's funny. Let me text Noel here. Show. Okay, now we wait. We let the little birdies come to us.
Whispers.
What would Varys say? We'll do no Game of Thrones spoilers, by the way. We'll just say we've watched it.
Yeah, we watched it. Yeah, Lauren's in the chat. She's way behind. No spoilers, Lauren, I swear.
But what does Varys say? His line is like, the birds are my whispers or something. You know his secrets, how he knows everything?
Yeah, my bird. Oh, yeah.
Because he uses pigeons, right? Or is it...
I have birds. All right. I have whispers. Yeah.
And she would know because she's behind.
Yeah.
Does Varys, is he a mystical knowing or does it actually people coming to him?
People coming to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just making sure. Because we never really know the full identity of those people, just that they're like around, I guess.
Yeah, true.
We're not supposed to know. We're not supposed to know.
His little birds, yeah.
Little birds, yeah. See?
Yeah.
She's more helpful.
She is really helpful.
Gosh.
Thank you. Hello, Roro. Hello, Zach.
Roro.
Hello, Dan. Dan says, I just sat through a 30-second ad on the final episode. Come on, Twitch.
Big moves.
That's a
Sponsored.
Big,
We're sponsored.
Sponsored.
Roro, I already showed him. The moment I got it, I had to show him.
That's crazy.
We'll talk about it again when I press record.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But wow, dude.
Jonah Pearson, what's up, Jonah?
You are so talented. I'll pull it up. It's going to be mirrored, and they might not be able to read it, but whatever. This thing that Roro sent me. Oh, my goodness
Josh
gracious.
Kirby, what's up?
Welcome.
Crow. Josh Crowley, what's good, my man?
Josh Crowley. I don't know if you all can see that, but Roro drew this for us. Made it from scratch. I don't know if am I doing the right thing?
It's got, Catch
It's hard to see, but he drew it. Roro drew us.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I asked him to do it. I was willing to pay him. He said, how dare you? He did it on the house. We love him so dearly.
That's crazy. Look how good I look in that. I don't even look that good in real life.
It looks like Andrew actually knows what he's talking about.
I know. Yo, like, man, I wish I was that cool.
You look like you should be here.
I should,
you know?
Yeah.
And that's the mark of a true artist.
Yeah, exactly.
And he got my watch right.
Yeah.
And my shirt right. I love looking at it.
That's crazy.
We're going to get an HD file from him, and then we're going to frame it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's us. Roro, you're the man. Thank you guys so much for joining our pre-show chat.
I feel like there's ways to, like, get it to do different things. Like if I could get like an iPhone.
Oh heck yeah! If he sends us a high quality image or a JPEG or a PNG or whatever, we can do tons of stuff with it. And if you're watching Roro, I would, and I don't want to ask him to do this, but I want him to sign it somewhere in the bottom right. If it said Roro, if you have an artist signature, put that puppy on there.
Yeah.
Because I want to remember that too. But anyway, I don't want to, I don't want to make him do stuff like whatever you want to do. But that's so cool.
Well done, really.
And
good.
gave me excuse.
Brendan, what's up, Brendan?
Gave me an excuse to use the iPad, which mostly just sits on the ground.
What's good? The whole family here is here. Yeah, we got a lot of people. What's good?
All right. Well, so we can start. Do you feel like we have numbers to start?
We can enjoy the pre-show.
I don't know if I'm ready to start. I'll be honest with you. But we can do it. Do you want to do it?
Let's see. Let me just make sure I send it out to everyone.
Okay, all right. I texted.
He said I can do that. He's gonna sign it.
Yes. Ro, the man. Is Daniel's in the chat? Is he around?
Daniel's in the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
Brendan says my fave podcasters. Yo, Brendan told me he listens to us every Wednesday on his way to work in the car.
Why aren't you gonna tell us that? That's so cool. I would shout him out more if I knew he did that.
He was like, he said it makes his commute to work Wednesday so much better.
Ugh.
Because I thought he was joking. I was like, no way you actually listen to us that much.
He almost went his whole entire life without warming my heart with that truth.
That's what I'm here to do.
Gosh, that's so awesome. I love it.
The question is there going to be any appearances by Daniel Snap to give Andrew millions and millions more? Daniel.
I asked. I said, are we going to get Daniel Snap in the Twitch for 2 weeks in a row? Which is like, so much money on the line. I would give so much money to see Daniel Snap in the chat again.
Guys, this shouldn't be your last episode. Kirby, thank you. I wish it wasn't.
Well, yeah. We'll talk about it. All right, give me an audio check here,
What's
Andrew.
up? Yo.
All right.
Thanks for skipping me. Hey, Vanessa. I didn't skip you, Vanessa. I was getting to you, all right? Thank you, Vanessa. Right. We appreciate you.
Who's Vanessa?
Brendan's girlfriend.
Oh, what up, girl?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I totally know her. All right, cool. Everybody's in the chat. That's so exciting.
For sure.
I hope I don't disappoint any of them with our lack of knowledge or profession. All right, you ready?
What if I just dropped it to friends I never sent this link to?
Do you
know the last episode?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Wait. What'd you say?
Just like some of my friends from school that I've never sent an episode before.
Oh yeah, no, I mean this is it, bro. This is a final ride.
Yeah, I did it.
They got no context.
All right, yeah, I'm ready.
Low expectations. All right. Well, I'm pressing record for the last time here. Okay. Don't look at me like that.
Okay.
All right. Here we. Do you have the Google thing up?
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, my people?
Yo.
Welcome to Podcast X, Y, and Z, the world's number fun video game podcast. I'm Caleb Pearson, one of your hosts. To my right, my co-host, Andrew Matthews.
My heart is beating fast.
Why?
I don't know. My heart is beating
actually,
fast.
I know why. It's a stupid question. It's not because of your nerves, though, right?
No.
It's not a lack of stage presence.
It's because of all the sugar I've had in his arm.
Or a lack of experience. The amount of sweet tea we've consumed in the last 90 minutes in an effort to finally catch up on Game of Thrones, we won't give away any spoilers. That's a lot. We're amped.
I'm amped.
I feel fueled.
Fueled.
Chemically by the food, socially by our squad. Thank you guys so much.
Yes.
If you're watching live at twitch.tv/Media Interactive. No more Patreon.
Whew.
No more homepage. We're one of that like rogue era of the podcast where we have no home base anymore.
Yeah.
But I guess it's
we
Twitch.
exist in the cloud. Oh yeah, Twitch. Yeah.
The cloud. So yeah, that's big. And then we go up on our YouTube. So
Yeah,
we'll throw up the HD audio of this podcast, Andrew. Podcast X, Y, and Z, episode 30. The end.
The end. Episode 30.
30 episodes, Andrew. Did you ever think that we would get this far?
I did not.
The most optimistic of forecasts. No way.
No. When you came into my basement the first time, no way. No way did I think episode 30. I thought at most 10. At most 10.
I thought best case scenario, we get 8 cringeworthy episodes in, and then one of us finally sits the other one down and says,
"This is too far.
We got nothing.
we
absolutely got nothing.
We gotta cut the cord."
But for whatever reason, against all odds, we're here and we love it, and it's been so fruitful.
Yes.
And you guys make that happen. So this is it. We announced the end of Media Interactive as we know it, at least. And so this is our final live podcast and final upload of Podcast X, Y, and Z. And so throughout today, we're going to go through a few news items. We're going to address a big picture question about the video games industry that Andrew came across in life that's kind of stuck with him. And then Andrew and I are going to take turns with goodbyes to our audience and to the podcast itself. We will not be saying goodbye to each other on air, so you're not going to see that. And you wouldn't want to see that.
Yeah, I probably don't want to see that.
I mean...
You would just feel really alienated as a viewer, and you would be like confused.
They would be like, all right, these guys are actually pathetic.
These guys
it would go beyond. It would go beyond. Okay, I can get behind their passion to like stop.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, just stop.
Like break the hug at this point.
Yeah, right.
But
is the screen frozen?
Yeah,
or are they still hugging?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can hear a slight whimpering in the background. Like, what's going on? But we are going to address you guys, the crowd. So throughout tonight, as we record, feel free to throw out any thoughts or words you have for us.
Any last side missions you want us to go on?
Any last side missions about the industry, any words of encouragement for us or for Andrew or for each other. This is an opportunity to be known and be loved amidst the Media Interactive community.
Yep.
So, Andrew, without further ado, let's jump into tonight's campaign.
The story mission.
Story mission time. Feel free to throw in side missions as we go, and we'll kind of flow through the podcast as normal. Story mission number 1 on the campaign, Andrew. Detective Pikachu is actually a good movie.
Actually a good...
Okay.
I think it got more money than Avengers Endgame first weekend.
At this point, or like compared to...
Opening weekends?
Maybe
I made that up.
No. I think you're dead wrong.
Okay.
And I think what you mean is its opening weekend beat Endgame's like third weekend.
Oh,
does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I saw a clickbait title.
And that's what it is. It's
gotcha.
Clickbait saying Pikachu beat Endgame, but because Endgame's been out a while.
Right, okay.
Nevertheless, disclaimer: I haven't seen it. Neither have you.
I haven't seen it.
So we're not going to talk about how much we love the movie or what the movie is actually about. But I'm just glad critics like it.
Yeah.
I have stopped caring about video game movies since Kanye West was in the Assassin's Creed trailer.
Yeah.
When that soundtrack was chosen,
yeah.
I said goodbye.
Yeah.
To ever signing on to a video game
and
movie.
that was like that had potential. Michael Fassbender's a great actor.
Oh, yeah.
As Ezio. Was he Ezio? I actually don't even know.
Well, he had just done the Apple movie where he was like Steve Jobs or something weird.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm so glad to hear that the movie's doing well. I am going to go see it.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. If it's not a Star Wars movie and I'm paying more than a month of Netflix to go see it,
it's a big deal.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm very excited to do that. Again, Sword and Shield Pokemon will be coming out in the fall. So I like that it's mainstream Pokemon.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you excited to see it?
I am excited. I was nervous for another Ryan Reynolds sarcastic character. I was like worried that it was just gonna be another Deadpool, but in like a Pokemon costume. I thought it'd be really weird. But it seems like people are really loving it. It seems like it's hitting the right notes for people like our age and then for kids, and a really good just snapshot of the Pokemon universe, which is really cool because I also really like the Pokemon animated movies. I know that's like pretty wildly accepted. I don't think that's like a crazy statement to say, but it's cool to see it in CGI live action like that. So I'm definitely really excited. I really like Justice Smith, I think is
the main dude.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I believe that's his name. I think he's really talented. Rora says, I still haven't got to see it. Can't wait to check it out. He says, remember that Assassin's Creed movie a few years ago? Yeah.
I never saw it.
I never saw it. Technically, my mom said it was a good movie, so...
Your mom went to see it?
No, like, she, like, saw it on, like, FX, you know, like, a while later. Like, it was one of those TV movies that came on. And she was like, oh, you played that game, right? It's pretty fun. It was a good movie.
Dude, if you don't know how cool Andrew's mom is by now, you just have no clue. No, kudos for her and them. Yeah, I never saw it. At that point, Andrew, I was playing Assassin's Creed Unity and loving it.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that was protective of, like, I don't want to ruin this experience.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let us know your Detective Pikachu thoughts if you're excited about that kind of movie, or even bigger picture in the chat, like, what do you think about video game movies as a whole?
Yeah.
Ready Player One was good.
It was good.
But it's
really
not. It's not a video game adaptation of a movie.
Correct.
It's a combined thing.
Yeah.
But what's ironic about Detective Pikachu, Andrew, is the juxtaposition between that and Sonic.
Yeah.
Because Sonic is such a blatant piece of garbage, right?
Well, they're redoing the CGI.
But again,
so who knows?
The Detective Pikachu, they're ingrained in society.
Yeah.
So you see a Pokemon, you're not like, whoa, what is this furry woodland creature that talks? You're like, there's a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Whereas Sonic, it's the whole movie's oh my goodness, what is this blue furry thing in my butt? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, you know? And so I like the idea that Pokemon is so ingrained in society, which is true in real life,
right,
that it's accepted.
Yeah.
And like my little cousin has started trading Pokemon cards and stuff, so I feel the world coming to life again beyond video games.
Yeah, no,
the idea that we can bond over these things together. So
I hope it doesn't make companies super excited to get video game adaptations. Like just so much where it's like every good video game gets ruined by a movie, because I don't want to say, but I don't think that's the case. I think Sonic is just a terrible experience for everyone. Daniel says, I think the least of the Sonic movies' problems is the CGI. Yeah, probably. They probably mess up on a lot of. Who knows? XYZ Mom says, I like Wreck-It Ralph. Does that count? It definitely does count. Wreck-It Ralph was a good movie.
That's my mother. It's gotta be my mother.
No, for sure. XYZ Mom.
I'm just impressed she found out to make a Twitch username. If she did. XYZ Mom. Shout out.
XYZ Mom.
Go follow her. She'll never stream.
But. Yeah, I actually haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet.
The second one is Breaks the Internet. Which is interesting because it uses a lot of logos and rights to... It's in the same way Ready Player One got rights, to video game characters. Yeah. The Ralph, the Wreck-It whatever movie got rights to like make fun of Google and Facebook and Twitter. Yeah. But I like the meta of those movies, where it's like very aware of itself, of how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I'm definitely excited to go see it.
XYZ Mom is trying to be as cool as Andrew's mom says. XYZ Mom. XYZ Mom, you're very cool.
Ma, you're cool, all right?
I appreciate you.
You're cool.
You're very cool.
You're cool. You didn't watch Assassin's Creed on FX, cool. But I guess you'll be there one day. Andrew, moving on. Story mission number 2 on the campaign today. Straight into video games. Ghost Recon Breakpoint was revealed. Here's why it's cool. Beyond Tom Clancy and the way people like those video games, Jon Bernthal, who plays Shane in The Walking Dead, played the Punisher in The Punisher, right? Is that what it's called?
Correct.
Super awesome actor and performer, and he does such a good job. So there's a story trailer out. That's super compelling, and I'm excited for it. I didn't play Wildlands. I haven't played too many Ghost Recon games.
Same. Like actually, this is the first time I'm like getting involved in sort of the lead up to a Ghost Recon game. So this is a first for me. I'm really excited. I was hoping for gameplay. I don't know why I was hoping for it. Even watching it and knowing what kind of style the trailer is, and I was kind of hoping for like a show me the gun.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I reacted the same way, but I wasn't thinking the way I normally do with an industry mindset of, okay, when is this game coming out? Who's developing it?
Yeah.
When did John do his performance capture? Like, all that stuff runs through my mind when I'm watching a trailer. But for this one, I literally was like, I want to know more about this game, and I want to know how it plays.
Yeah. Because
the Ghost Recon name, while carrying a legacy, I don't think it carries a lot of clarity as to what the style of game is.
Right, that's why I was very confused.
But the narrative of their trailers, and they have always done a good job of cadence with their marketing. And I think it came at a perfect time when we had talked about the fall lineup and like when we're going to start to see some of these reveals happen.
Yeah.
So that E3 is not a reveal, but it's a, remember when we revealed this, here's more kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it should be good. I'm excited to try.
Am I like so dumb to ask, like, is it first person or is it third person? Like,
You're not dumb to ask that. It's probably third person. I have no clue.
I have no clue.
No, I don't know. I just know Shane is cool. Jon Bernthal is freaking cool, dude.
He's really
I went back and watched the pilot of Walking Dead the other day, and here's the thing. We don't have remastered right now. Like, this is a video game podcast. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I know I'm going off track. Walking Dead's not good anymore, but man, it was so good, Andrew.
It was so good.
When I channeled watching that pilot again, I was like, this is awesome.
It was so good.
What a good show.
That pilot was great. Daniel says it's third person. Thank you.
Nailed it. Why don't we just directly ask him anymore? I love that we try to figure it out ourselves.
We're like, we run a show. We can do this.
When dummies bounce ideas off each other and try to gain traction, it just doesn't work. Go straight to the experts.
Okay, so third person. Daniel. Is it I guess like it would be cool if it were like co-op. Like if we could both play and then watch Jon Bernthal like lead us into victory, that'd be kind of cool.
Well, is he a villain? I couldn't even tell what was going
on.
I think it's ambiguous. I don't really know what's going on, but I'm excited to just see what happens with it. And
do you think we get footage at E3?
Oh man, I'm trying to think of what that stage looks like and what games they have. I do think so, just because we haven't had a lot of other reveals.
Right. As
far as a release date, I think it just said 2019 or something.
Yeah.
But I think we will. I think we'll see more about it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think John does a fairly good job on Twitter with his presence of like, I've been working on this.
Okay.
Or start to do interviews or reach out to people like that.
Yeah.
The Ghost Recon games also, Andrew, are at a caliber where they can get first looks from outlets and stuff. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this was an IGN first in the fall.
Oh, right.
Or if GameSpot gets on board and says, hey, here's what you need to know about Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Because that's a game that's big and the name's recognizable, but it's not the one everyone's chasing after right now. I'm excited for it.
Daniel says Bernthal is the villain. I just looked it up.
Cool.
Daniel, thank you.
And he's such a good villain.
I'm excited. I would like, when we talked about it, I think last episode, it was kind of like a little bit of the thrill of having Kevin Spacey in a video game, even though now, Kevin Spacey's, who cares about Kevin Spacey on Call of Duty?
He's getting dragged through the judicial court like a bag of rocks.
But at the time when he was, back then, having Kevin Spacey on a Call of Duty game was really exciting. So it's exciting to have someone like John Bernthal on a game, and hopefully,
he doesn't act like an idiot.
Yeah, hopefully he's isn't a terrible person.
Dude, he seems like a good guy.
He does, yeah.
I'm excited for it. I feel good about it. Again, the more the merrier. Bring on the games. Let us know what we're going to see at E3.
Exactly. Exactly.
It'll be super
I got
good.
a E3.
I did too.
Like
email.
Was it get ready for? It's like right around the corner. And I was
so
like,
let me. I don't know if you can picture this, but the email was relatively dumb.
Yeah, it does.
Because the title is like, "Get ready for E3," and then you click on the email, and the body of the email is the exact same thing as the title. Get ready for E3. And then nothing.
It was like we hadn't signed up yet. It was like
I was waiting for the email to render.
Yeah.
And then I realized,
that's the
somebody. This is an automated. I didn't feel special.
Yeah.
So they got me. But I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. Yeah.
I'm so
to
ready.
answer your email.
Yeah.
I responded.
I
yes.
responded. But yeah, no, I'm super excited about that. Andrew, speaking of Kevin Spacey and all that judicial nonsense. United States Senator, I believe from Missouri, introduced a bill to ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions in video games.
That's really interesting. That's a really interesting turn, I think, in the video game industry because, I mean, the whole argument is around, now with Fortnite being so successful, the player base of these games are way younger than an 18-year-old. And now, not that Fortnite is pay-to-win, but now you're seeing more and more younger audiences be involved in these games, and they're the audience for these companies like EA to say, oh, get your parents' credit card, pay $5 for this loot box. And now you're starting to see, I just can't believe that there's a bill being introduced today, or like 5 days ago, about video games. Like, no pay to win. That's crazy. Like, I don't think it'll ever get passed. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
if it's me being
and
skeptical
again,
or what.
I'm fairly ignorant. I am politically involved, but I consider myself fairly ignorant on this point. I mean, the bill's introduced. Who the heck knows what that means or what's going to happen with it? But it's so interesting, Andrew, that people can bash on violence in video games until the sun goes down, and no one in Congress bats an eye.
Yeah.
And I would argue, rightfully so. Worry about the world.
Yeah.
Congress. Thank you.
Yeah.
But the moment money is involved,
Yeah.
it's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Video games are huge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money happening here.
Let's get involved.
Oh, wait a second. The taxpayer feels screwed by this.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And it's games like Battlefront where a mom goes out there and is going to buy the video game with the shiny stick swords for their kid that happens to be run solely by microtransactions.
Yeah.
So now that relatively small portion of the video games industry is now blown up.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that it's Missouri. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Because they probably have nothing to do except video games, I guess.
Like, is it always cloudy? Like, I don't know what that means. But I think it's cool. No matter what happens, I just want a developer to read this and be like, oh, maybe less.
Maybe less, but
And just one guy in the meeting say, hey, he's gonna be nervous. His voice is crackling.
It's his second day.
Like he's fixing his pre-tied bow tie. Like, maybe less microtransactions.
They all look. Everyone stops.
And fine. Like that's it. Just less. Less. I get it.
Dana brings up an interesting point. It's a dangerous precedent, though. If this were to get passed, what else would they try to regulate in games if this were to be passed? I mean, it is interesting to think, like, if they get involved in it all, like, what does that mean for the state of gamers? But at this point, like, I don't know, man. I'm worried that when I have kids, like, the state of video games will be so loot box heavy that I will have to think about getting them a console without me being around, because of the sheer amount of like horror stories I've heard. And when we were kids, what could we buy? Like nothing.
Dude, literally ring pops.
There was literally nothing I could like. I mean, there was definitely things I could like steal $5 and go to the candy store, but it's not like I could pay $1,000. I mean, we just covered a story about Mortal Kombat having skins up to 6,000, whatever.
$6,200.
And like, what if a kid has his parents' credit card and his 10-year-old friend comes over and is like, "Yo, I want that skin," you know? I don't know. It's just like,
and,
I get it.
No, and I get what Daniel's saying, but I think his point speaks to the fact that it's not gonna pass.
Yeah,
or like,
yeah.
Eventually, some guy is gonna read this bill and be like, "What?
Wait, why is this here?
Is this a typo?" Like,
yeah.
like I could literally see him saying, "Star Wars isn't real," and throwing it away, like just not knowing what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, if the government can crack down on some monopolization and say like, "Hey, like now we're watching you, so watch your move."
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because again, Game Pass, smaller across the board subscriptions, can keep people in check, and then focus on content that's actually good, and then you update it and stuff like that. Apex and all those games need microtransactions, so as long as they're cosmetic focused,
right.
And again, Apex is not doing well on that front. So I get the model for a certain video games, but the idea there is pay to win. If you can look at the formula of the game and blatantly see, okay, no developer misses this. They're purposely trying to lock you in.
Right.
And then what's worse is, in the case of Battlefront 2, it wasn't marketed as such. It was, you can unlock Darth Vader within 48 hours.
Yeah.
That was the marketing.
Yeah.
And then the realization is, if you pay $40. So it's like, that is blatant unethical practice in my mind.
That's crazy.
But I do like to see it. Whenever video games enter the news, man, it's my favorite thing. To watch a CNN anchor try to
struggle through Fortnite.
Oh my goodness.
Breaking news.
And just even the way they'll like say the word PlayStation or explain it, the way these games work, and then they like cut to like a generic, backlog footage of some kid like, in movies where they like move the controller around and you're like, you as a director must not know how games work.
Right.
And that was so funny. It was one of Breaking Bad. It was one of the problems I had with Breaking Bad. The second to last season, Jesse would play with that kid and his mom, and they would play a racing game, and they would just like turn the Xbox controller. And I was like, "What are you guys doing?"
They just needed to watch someone play video games for like an hour to realize that it's just like
it's too funny.
Yeah.
It's too funny.
Daniel says, as long as it doesn't impact the creative of the games, I'm good with it. Roro says, indeed. Yeah, I mean, for sure. And I guess we know it won't get passed, so it's just interesting, as you said, to hear it on the news and hear people think about these things.
Absolutely. Andrew, second to last story mission for today's campaign. Rage 2 is officially in our possession. Comes out tonight at midnight. And that's going to be a large focus for Bethesda E3, the showcase that we will be at in person.
Yeah, we will.
In LA in June.
You know that.
How excited are you for this game? On two fronts. One is the more immediate jumping into it, and then second, like the rolling content moving forward.
Yeah, actually, Roro has a funny joke about our last segment, talking about those news stations covering it.
Yeah.
In quotes, Mario is hurting our children. Shows Pokemon footage.
Literally
that. It's like not ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's funny.
That's too funny.
Dude, I'm really excited. I'm really excited because Daniel did a whole Bethesda predictions, which I thought was really interesting too, talking about Doom Eternal and those things. And I played a little bit of Doom, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just like spoiled, bratty. Something about playing a game that isn't out right now, it's like I could be playing something that's like newer. So the fact that like Rage 2 is coming out now and it's like a new wave of new games, and I've heard like the best comparison of this game is like it's Doom-esque combat. I think that makes me really excited. I'm interested because I like we've talked about, I don't have any knowledge about this game or how it works. So I'm really excited. What about you?
I think it's gonna be all the rage. You know what I'm talking about, Andrew? No, I'm excited.
All right, see you guys.
and it's so funny because you and I did the $50 pre-order Microsoft card. You get an extra 10, the deal, and then we finally I got my email for 10. You're still waiting on yours.
Why'd you bring that up?
Man, what a Is that worth it? Was that worth it? I guess it was.
$10 off of a
saved
new
$10,
game, yeah.
but it was just we had to wait, 7 to 8 business
that's
days.
how they get you.
Tell me why emails take business days.
Yeah.
Explain to me the logic of that, Andrew.
Well, there's a whole factory.
Mailmen don't run the Wi-Fi. Mailmen aren't delivering
the...
Wi-Fi signals.
Yeah.
Email don't take business days, but all I'm saying. We finally got it. It's pre-ordered. I'm excited to play it. That's going to be the new game to do. And then basically, as we approach Bethesda E3, that'll be our opportunity to basically know what they're talking about when they're on stage, because we know it's not going to be Elder Scrolls heavy or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I don't think there's any co-op or any multiplayer. Yeah. They had a tweet about the roadmap of content, and there is free content coming out after, which I'm excited for. It's like Borderlands-esque, which is cool, and there's no Randy Pitchford behind it, so I don't have to worry about any...
Holy smokes,
yeah. So it'll be interesting.
Andrew, we're getting there, buddy.
We're getting there.
Okay, we're getting there. Let's move on to the final story mission of the final campaign.
Wow.
For Podcast XYZ.
You just throwing those big words out there.
They're big. The words are big, but they're also accurate. What can you do?
It's true.
Andrew, you wrote down, someone told me video game stories will never be as good as those found in TV or movies.
Yeah. And
you wanted to talk about this.
I did. It was shocking to me how accepted. So the situation was we were just hanging out. We weren't talking about video games or anything. But then for a second we just briefly mentioned Xbox games. I don't remember what game he was saying, but then in just the middle of the conversation, he just said in a lower tone, because there was people around that weren't gamers. So to explain it, he was like, yeah, but it's not it will never be a TV show or movie. It was a video game story. And it kind of, it just a passing statement, but it kind of stuck with me of this person will has basically categorized video game stories to never reach any TV. You could have the best video game story and it won't reach TV and movies.
Yeah.
And I kind of get that. I will start with saying that. I kind of understand the sentiment there. I kind of see how there's something to say for you're not, having to do all the grind, all the in-between things in a TV show and a movie. You're just watching the characters develop. But sometimes, and I was thinking to myself, there are video games that I truly adore, but if I just stripped away the medium, if I just said, and I put them on a list, and I didn't think about movie, TV, or game, I didn't think about that category, I just put them on a list, would I think of a video game better than my favorite TV show or something like that? And I was interested to think of what you guys think about the way that you enjoy entertainment. Is your video game stories just a side thing that you then go to TV and you're yeah, this is where the story's at? Or do you think video game stories are up there? I mean, I don't know. What are you thinking?
Yeah. A couple of thoughts. One, I'll just address it directly. They're wrong.
Yeah.
To say video game stories will never be as good as those found in TV or movies is wrong. And the reason why I think they said that was, again, clearly they don't game, so they don't maybe understand it. But also, Andrew, movies and TV have been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
About literally. So there's an American culture where in the late 70s, there were 4 TV channels. 4. Yeah. And everybody in the world is tuning in to watch MASH.
Yeah.
And there's a TV culture, and now there's a movie culture where Avengers Endgame is sinking, so to speak, the Titanic total gross, amount of the movie industry. And so that medium has been around for so long. Mm-hmm. Video games are 30 years old.
Right.
Video games are as old, they're essentially probably, in all honesty, 45 to 50 years old, right? Yeah. My dad is old, pushing 50 years old, and he grew up around the Nintendo coming out when he was a teenager kind of thing. Yeah. So that is where we're at, but the idea that video games, as far as a timeline, have a long way to go to catch up to TV and movies, narratively, they're so close.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about this before, but my ability to engage with a story to the point of controlling it, literally,
right,
is a good thing.
Right.
And the reason I hope this bears weight with people that are listening is because I'm a TV guy.
Yeah.
I have always said to everyone, you included.
Yeah, for sure.
I put TV above video games.
Yeah.
That's why we are called Media Interactive.
Right.
We're not called Games Interactive. We're not called Video, whatever. it's entered the entertainment industry as a whole, but the different facets we have of you can go to the movies and engage in a community of people in a movie theater. Mm-hmm. You can sit on your couch and just simply receive TV.
Yeah.
But video games are interactive.
Yeah.
And I love it, and I just think it's not true. They can absolutely be as good. Some of them are.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, and we have a lot of comments, so okay. I'll try to move through that.
Yeah, go for it.
But we'll start with a comment from your mom. She says, "But do you think video games can capture the depth of emotion that you can get in a movie or a TV show?"
Yeah, I mean it's funny she says that because I have cried from video game stories all the time. The reason it most likely cannot is because of one. Video game production is not prioritizing the acting.
Right.
It's the gameplay.
Yeah.
So your controlling physically of the person outweighs any talent of acting.
Yeah.
The one exception would be Naughty Dog in The Last of Us, where they very emphasize the acting, right?
Yeah.
And that story is so compelling to me.
Yeah.
And it's something that is above a lot of TV shows in my mind. But I think she has a good point.
Yeah.
The way I love TV more than video games is because I grow with TV. We just talked about it.
Right.
We were 8th grade when Game of Thrones season 1 was filmed.
Right.
So to grow and experience a show that is ingrained in culture like that, whereas games are obviously not ingrained in culture. We just saw that with the bill introduced in Missouri, with the lack of understanding about Detective Pikachu. Like, the world is still warming up to the idea of games. And unfortunately, a lot of exposure is a bad rap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas nobody bats an eye at TV or movies, even if it's trash.
Yeah.
And that's a little frustrating for me.
Yeah.
And even tonight, like, we're wrapping up a podcast, and there are going to be people that don't understand what that means for us. And they're going to watch, and it's going to unfold here in the next, 10, 15 minutes. And maybe they'll understand why we're saying what we're saying and why we're feeling what we're feeling. Maybe they won't.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because it ultimately is that idea of finding a passion and then connecting over it. And that's best done with other people in a real life situation.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. And I think, like, I definitely see merit to your point because the idea, like, sometimes you get taken out when there's a loading screen, right? And you can't avoid a loading screen. I mean, like, maybe one day we'll get a video game where you can play it start to finish without any loading screens, but you'll hit a point where you're put the controller down. Or you look to your phone. And in a TV show or a movie, there are dull moments, but you're still seeing a character, you're still seeing a location. There are things that keep you immersed in there, so that depth of emotion comes and you're consuming something from start to finish. But I mean, not to beat that dead horse, but there is something crazy about moving Arthur Morgan to the objective. No matter what you try to do, who you talk to, and you make decisions, but it's like when you walk a different way. And then, like what we said, every time we say this, and I'll say this again, when we interact with a character and it turns out different than you,
exactly,
there's more depth than I'll ever get from a TV show.
And that's my point, is ultimately you can control what happens.
Right.
And that is people marvel at that.
Yeah.
And again, when video games started, it was Pong. It was 2D tennis.
Yeah.
It was silly. Whoa, I can get pixels to move like this.
Yeah.
Now it's like, wait a second. You can have artistic expression, not just in the development of this video game, but in the way somebody plays it.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And that, I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times, I'll say it until I'm dead. Video games is the only entertainment medium that can do that.
Yeah,
the closest we've ever come is Netflix interactive TV shows where every
Smash.
5 to 10 minutes you click left, right, up, or down.
Yeah.
And people marvel at it. The world is like, whoa, this is crazy. And we say,
that's
been around for 20 years.
We've been doing it.
And it's good, but again, it's good.
Right.
I have no beef with that. I think it's awesome. But again, there's so much to learn from the world of video games, and you would be surprised the people that start in this realm and go on to that. Because there is still a hierarchy there a little bit of the industries and all that. Does anybody else have any other?
Yeah, we've got a lot.
That's good. I want them
to
be heard. So
I'm trying to get through it. Daniel says, in many ways, games are light years ahead of movies. If you just want a high-budget, linear story, then sure. Probably a movie is the way to go, but if you want to feel engaged and attached to the story, games are the way to go. Yeah, that's very true. My good friend Cameron shows up in the chat, says, my boys nice shirts. Cameron, thanks for tuning in. Rora says, I had this conversation with my friend. I feel like so many people are missing out on so many great stories in gaming. And when Hollywood does try to adapt them for film and movies, they always do them dirty. Until recently with Detective Pikachu, but then coming right after that is freaking Sonic the Hedgehog, and we all know what's going on with that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really difficult when you meet someone that will say, I won't, like, I like, you try to talk about, like, stories and characters, and you bring up a video game, like, wait, is that a video game? Like, no, we're talking about stories, and you're like, I definitely know those people that are definitely like, oh yeah, but that's a video game. We're talking about like TV. We're talking about things that are like I totally feel where you're at, Roro, because there's an element of like some people will never experience that Red Dead, and they'll never know what it's like. And they just won't get the the characters of The Witcher, and we got the worst ending possible, but it was like we did it to ourselves.
And again, it's getting better. But if you call somebody a gamer, you're judged, and you picture some fat slob with no life playing World of Warcraft, right? Because for whatever reason, when games started to get in depth and character driven and control a story, it was the PC fantasy genre that took off, right? But now, now it's realistic, apocalyptic, where even though it's a clearly fictionalized story, the reason people gravitate towards it is because on some level you can relate.
Yeah.
Why do you like TV or movies? Because at some level you can relate and you can channel what is going on. You're like, whoa, that was good. The way the sound and the scope, the grand scheme of the production of that thing basically immersed you in it. And putting a controller in somebody's hand guarantees immersion. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And it's only the silly moments that pull you back out.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like when you're playing a game like Mass Effect where every little conversation you have to choose what kind of person you're going to be. You have to ask yourself, what is this character going to do, but what am I going to do? And that might seem like, oh, everyone picks the good guy. But there's so many different ways to picture what a good guy looks like or a good girl looks like. And you think about the character and the way and you put the controller down and then you go to class, you're thinking like, man, I made that decision to talk to someone and now I'm having real life conversation. How do I interact with that person? You don't get that. In any TV show or movie experience, you're sitting there saying, wow, that person acted that character that way. That's interesting.
Right. Or what did you think of this objective?
But that's you. You did that in that game, and that's crazy. Zach says, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the new one, had a story that was way better than the last Star Wars movie, in my opinion. Roro says, totally agree to earlier points. Roro says, The Last of Us, as a movie, Life is Strange as TV, Uncharted as a movie trilogy, BioShock as a movie. Those could be amazing movies, shows if done well and respected their sources. I also think Destiny's lore and story would make an awesome Star Wars-like epic again if it were done well. I think that's what's really interesting too, because especially with Destiny, they got Nathan Fillion to come on. So it was interesting because you'd have it was almost like you were watching a TV show in a way, especially with the way the expansions were put out and the way that all this stuff was handled. It's like when you have these big and now like. Who plays the big PlayStation guy, the voice actor that everyone like?
Troy Baker and
Troy Baker. Like these people are almost as big as actors, and they don't get to see their whole act, but the way they perform as these characters are almost as big as
TV. Andrew. They both run a YouTube channel and are content where they're at.
Right.
They don't care to dive into Hollywood and do movies, and they also are very, very intentional.
Yeah.
Of bonding with their fans and doing things that go beyond the game.
Right.
I mean, when we went viral with Greg's tweet, Troy was one of the first ones to tweet at me.
Yeah.
And say like, "This is why I'm a best friend. This is awesome." Yeah. And that it makes him real.
Yeah.
It makes all of it real. It makes all of us real.
Yeah.
Like Greg knows right now tonight that we are recording this final podcast, and he wished us well. One of our fans has reached out to him and communicated with him. It has made the untouchable touchable and relatable, and we are all on the same page, and that's what we sought out to do.
Yeah.
And I just think that is so incredible that it actually happened.
Yeah.
Bringing purpose to the mundane. That is what talking about video games can do.
Because everyone's talking about TV show movies in some capacity.
Right.
But it's like putting video games on the same plane. I love how you put that. Lauren said, it's really interesting because you can study books and TVs and movies in classes, but not video game stories. That's a really interesting point. I wonder if one day you'll see a class turn into like video game stories and dissecting some of those things. I would love that. XYZ Mom says, great points, cool discussion. Daniel says, yes, agree, great discussion. Zach says, well spoken, lads. Daniel says, every person should experience the stories of Last of Us, Uncharted, Red Dead, BioShock. These games are phenomenal pieces of storytelling. What a good roundtable discussion. I'm still pondering these things as I go as a consumer, because sometimes it does feel alienating to be on your couch at 10 p.m. just playing a video game and then going to sleep. Whereas like Game of Thrones, you get on Twitter, it's talked about, you go to class the next day, it's talked about, but you go to school the next day and no one's playing the same game at the same time you are. But as Caleb has said, as you guys have pointed out, like that's what this community has been about, is we've been able to we've really been able to treat video games like a TV show development. We've been able to say, like, yo, what are you playing this week? As if we were all watching the same Game of Thrones episode. In the same way, we're playing Halo Master Chief Collection or Breath of the Wild. And the ways that is experienced and communicated, I think is the beauty of video game in that way, is when you bring people in the same table and you treat it as if we all watch the same Walking Dead episode, it becomes just as powerful. Just as moving when we talk about these characters that are so revered and has meant so much to us. We had a segment about, favorite video game heroes. They're not just fictional heroes. We played them. I'll never get to say I played as Walter White. Like, as much as I love Breaking Bad and it's up there as my favorite show, I think about Arthur Morgan and I think about decisions I made as Arthur Morgan. And I think about decisions you made as Arthur Morgan. And I think there's a level there that, like we've said, it will just never be reached.
That's good. Andrew, I want to devote the last few minutes of our time with Podcast X, Y, and Z to the audience, kind of from us. And so this is going to be our opportunity to say our goodbyes to them, to the audience. So again, I prefaced at the beginning, Andrew and I are not saying goodbye to each other right now. For most of you, we are not even saying goodbye to interacting with you. I'm excited to still connect with you guys. You guys have become loved ones if you weren't already. And so I'm excited to see that continue. But the truth of the matter is, this is it.
This is it.
And we've been doing this 9 months straight. And the Lord has made it very clear that it's time for us to appreciate it in this way. So I'm going to let you say goodbye just however you want. And so this is for live on the stream. Just hear us out. And then I also want it on the record for the HD audio just so it can go up on YouTube and we can kind of have it. So I don't know if you want to.
That's crazy, man. That's a crazy prompt. When you showed up to ask me to do this, I never thought I'd be having to say goodbye in this way. I have to consult the audience and my group of friends of what this experience has meant to me. But if I can just say, I've been a nerd my whole life, and I knew that, and I loved video games, and it was the way. And me, you, and Daniel Prender were talking about this. I'll briefly share. When I was growing up, we'd go and play backyard football, and I was never the strongest, fastest, or tallest kid on the team. And we played backyard football, and all the kids would be like, "Yo, you're weak. Yo, you're not strong enough. You're not this and that." And then at one point, this kid just punched me in the stomach and said, "Let's see how tough you are." And I ran home crying. And I remember thinking, if this is what community is like, if this is what masculinity, all those things, if this is what it's like, I don't want it. I don't want any of it. And I remember the first time I played Xbox 360 with my friends in a basement, I stood there nervous that I would be outed for not being good enough, fast, all these things. And I remember just playing and everyone was laughing. And I was dying, right? It was violent, it was all this, but I was looking at myself for the first time saying, I'm accepted and I don't have to be something I'm not. And it was that moment that I think back to of video games has meant everything to me because it has shown me that I don't have to be someone I'm not. But then I went to college and I had been gaming for all of my life. And I went to college and the scene was very different. And it was more about career and all the different things. And there's good things that come from college, but for me, I stopped gaming. For a while, the most gaming I did was Rocket League, and I would come back and talk to this guy and some of my friends, and they'd be like, "Yo, it doesn't seem like you're gaming anymore. Do you want to keep gaming? It's cool if you don't. It's just kind of weird because we see you online sometimes. We don't know if we want to invite you." It was just a weird time. But I struggled with it. I was like, do I want to play video games? All my friends are doing cooler things. Did I leave that person behind? And I'll say when I came back super lonely after graduation because I didn't really know what I was doing. And I was just I don't know what I want to do. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted to do, who I wanted to do it with. And then some random night, this guy showed up and said, "I've got an idea. What if we just showed up and talked about something that we love because we're not doing anything that really is productive anyways right now. We're just trying to figure it out." And if I can just point to one thing about this community, it's literally been, it has shown me the side of me that I've loved about myself for so long, but I have forgotten because I had tried to do something else and be something else. Getting back into gaming, getting back into doing this with him has been an awesome experience about learning and sharing and creating and all these things, but it has been an affirmation of who I am and who I was made to be and who I was created to be. And that, to me, I'll never know how to thank you guys for that. If anything, I don't care about video games you play, how much fun we've had, laughs. It's just like, I need you guys to know that you guys have made me confident to say, I play video games and I'm proud. And that might seem like a really silly thing to say, but I was really struggling with that. Like, really struggling with what do I think of myself and the things that I do and consider it as fun. But this community, you guys, each and every person, whether you chatted one time, whether you texted me, whether you played an Xbox game with me, whether you just watched silently, you guys have reinforced the fact that, like, yo, every time you interact with me, even if you don't say a word, you're saying, Andrew, we love you for who you are. You should be you. And I hope and I pray and I just want you guys to leave this community thinking that about yourself. It doesn't matter if you don't game and you watch this. Just know that who you are in this moment watching, I love you. Like, I can say that because I've interacted with each and every one of you. Be yourself. If anything, this should teach you that who yourself is the most important thing to be. Because we never tried to be someone we weren't, and that's what got us on the internet in the first place. It wasn't Caleb trying to be someone else. It wasn't me trying to be someone else. It was us being losers, crying in our basement when a celebrity reached out to us. Like, that's what made us big, right? It was being us. And I rambled on maybe a little too long, but I just want each and every one of you to leave thinking, I can be who I am, and that's all that matters. And gamers out there, wherever you are, whether you are proud of gaming or not, you should be proud and you should be happy. And you always have a friend in a community with good old Andy over here. So I'll turn it over to you.
That was good. If you are listening to this, I believe that God made you special and he loves you very much. And I believe that we were all created to embrace a sense of belonging and seek to leave an impact with each other. And I can't begin to thank you enough for supporting us and me in this dream and in this vision and what Andrew and I have created. I have grown up loving TV and movies and video games, and I realized that what can be so mundane or without purpose or without impact can actually have the reverse effect if you talk about that with your loved ones and if you connect with them over that. And so I cannot put it into words. I love to speak. I love to teach. I think words come naturally to me. So I just hope that can properly convey how much you guys mean to me on Twitch and on YouTube and following us on Twitter. I will never, ever in my entire life play another video game, watch another episode of TV, or watch another movie without thinking of you guys and without thinking of this. And the only reason I'm holding it together is because I know I still have some more time with Andrew and I still have some more time with you guys. But thank you for giving us a chance. Thank you for listening to us babble on about this crazy, stupid stuff in ways in which we can only scratch the surface of our belonging and impact in your lives compared to your belonging and impact in ours.
Yeah. We love you. That was really well said, man.
And I'm not done processing all of it. I told Andrew when things got rolling that it's going to take me some time, years maybe, to really look back and fully understand what has happened. But yeah, all we can say is thank you. So, I don't know. Is there anything else? I think that's...
If I say anything more, I'll probably cry.
Okay, yeah. Fair point. That's just a great fair point.
I'm barely holding on to it here, buddy.
I want to reach out to some of you on Xbox. I would like our last ever YouTube video to be a Let's Play of us together in an Xbox party. I think you can add up to 12 people, and I would love to play Halo Master Chief Collection, so be on the lookout for me reaching out to you for your gamer tags and all that stuff. I still want to find ways to connect with you guys. But, yeah, for the last time, much love and keep on gaming.
Peace. Man, screw you, man.
Andrew,
Screw you,
stop.
man.
I'm not looking at you.
All right, well.
I'm not looking at you. I don't want to see this chat.
Yeah,
oh, that's bad.